The Immortal Mask, a 1970s superhero crime noir adventure, follows a retired soldier turned reporter who is given a coveted interview with a death row inmate. What he learns thrusts him into Atlanta's shadowy underworld. He'll have to use his military training to survive being hunted for possessing the information that could topple the city's most powerful ruling class. This is not a pre-order or a crowdfunding campaign. Get your books now at denali's.com.
Entertainment Group presents the Madness Comic Network with original programming and additional comic-related content.
Get ready for an exhilarating journey into the boundless world of imagination. Welcome, comic book enthusiasts, to the extraordinary realm of Out of Obscurity. This groundbreaking anthology, published by Arrow Comics, unveils a legion of aspiring creators, each eager to leave their mark on the industry. Prepare to be captivated as they breathe new life into obscure public domain characters, creating their own unique tales within the pages of this awe-inspiring collection. Out of Obscurity is a testament to the unwavering passion and creative prowess of these emerging talents. They have meticulously resurrected forgotten heroes and heroines, spinning intricate yarns that span the ages. Brace yourself for action-packed battles, mind-bending mysteries, and heartwarming triumphs that will transport you to uncharted territories of excitement. By supporting our Fund My Comic campaign, you become an essential part of this historic endeavor. Together, we can catapult these aspiring creators towards their dreams of comic book glory. Join us on this epic odyssey and witness the birth of new legends. Your generous contributions will not only help us bring Out of Obscurity to life, but also grant you access to exclusive rewards, including remarkable artwork, signed copies, and behind-the-scene glimpses. Embrace the spirit of adventure, for within these pages, untold wonders await. Together, let us ignite the spark of greatness within these visionary talents and redefine the landscape of the comic book universe. Be a part of history and make Out of Obscurity a reality.
Just back it already.
25 seconds to curtain, folks.
Oh,
ladies and gentlemen, we are.
There is no wondering. Huzzah!
Now we coast. Now we just kick back and like, okay, we did that. Been there.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Yes, to all of us. Aaron, T Bunny, how you guys doing tonight, man?
Doing good.
Good. Real good. Now.
Have you lost weight, man?
Me? Yeah. 25 pounds so far.
Good for you.
Awesome. And plus the beard. That was a little weight.
Yeah, well, that was a half a pound right there.
There you go. Head start.
No, I tried all kinds of things because I moved to Arkansas 3 years ago. I was 220. I was like, That's too much, really.
At what height?
5'9", 5'10".
Okay.
It varies depending on the length of the yardstick, apparently.
Right.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I'm same. I'm 6'3", sometimes 6'4". So, and yeah, I've actually I've been doing my own weight thing because I was up to 250, and like I feel more comfortable around 220. So
Yeah, I got to
went
256. I'm like, something's wrong.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I'm doing something wrong.
And well, I know what it is. I get up, I sit here for 8 hours, and then I log off my work, and then I sit here for another 8 hours.
That's what it is. It's the sitting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I tried different things that didn't work, but about 4 weeks ago, I just, I talked with a friend of mine who had lost 65 pounds and he was on diabetes, and he had to. He wasn't on diabetes; he was diabetic. It's not like you inject diabetes.
Sure.
And
right.
He's on it.
But he said he just went with the no carbs. He's like, what do you have for breakfast? I'm like, I have bacon and eggs every day for breakfast. He's like, you're halfway there. Eat that for lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
And it just started falling right off. So I'm like, okay, carbs are where the weight is.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Too bad I like carbs so much. Damn.
They're delicious.
I know it.
They are. They're
I was
quite
asking his wife, I'm like, what has carbs? She's like, basically anything.
Everything.
Bread, noodles. Well, geez, that's everything I like.
No, pretty much. You like it? It's got carbs. Anyway.
Most likely.
Potatoes.
Yeah, chips. Yeah.
At my age, we were weaned on potatoes, man.
Oh yeah,
it's true.
I let myself cheat on the weekends. We got a beautiful little home cooking restaurant just a block and a half from me. And
nice.
We'll be there this weekend for my
Good
cheat
deal.
day. But Rini is going to be in town.
Oh wow, cool.
And
Whoa.
one of the places I plan on taking her is to my farmhouse cafe here in Holiday Island, Arkansas. Salute!
There you go.
You're old enough to remember that. You're old.
Home cooking, baby. Home cooking.
Good for you. That'll be fun.
They're open on the weekends in the morning for breakfast, and they have biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, evidently, rural culture is starting to gain some momentum in society right now.
I'm trying to get out of town. That's for sure. We're looking really seriously about just outside of town, where it's like maybe a half hour or more to get to work. Because I'm in the Midwest already, so.
Wow.
It's like 20 minutes to get to work. What's that?
What state are you in?
I'm in Illinois, but I'm on the Mississippi River, so it's like Iowa, Illinois,
Okay.
I don't know how well you know
St.
Illinois,
Louis.
Iowa, but I'm in the Quad Cities.
I lived in St. Louis, Illinois for years and years. That's where I came from to move here.
You mean there's some Illinois, but outside of Chicago? Really?
There is. Southern Illinois begins
Quite
right
a
at
bit,
the lower edge of the county.
What's up, Luke?
Speaking of Midwest,
here.
Yeah.
Mr.
Thomas
Indiana.
Doc, what's up?
Midwest.
Yep. Midwest represent.
Back in Indiana.
Midwest. There's more than corn in Indiana. Now there's me.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Thinking about going to the Indiana Dunes with my family. I don't know, maybe like Labor Day weekend, so should be fun.
The dunes are fun.
I haven't been there, and my woman has great memories of it. She's like, "Oh, we got to take the family." So, like, she went once as a kid, kind of thing. So, like, let's do it.
It's
You're
about
a woman
at the lake.
Oh my!
It's about all there is. It's fun here.
That's a possessive right there.
My woman.
I love the country that I'm in here.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's 30 minutes to get to Walmart, sure, but
yeah,
I just love the countryside. It's like I live in a deer preserve. They're all over the place every single day.
That's so
I'm
nice.
growing up and
That's
like,
nice.
oh my god, I think that was a deer, and you'd go another 6 years without seeing one.
Well,
like,
RJ, just write a song that resonates with the heart of America, and you could have a #1 iTunes.
There we go.
There you go.
But like, we want chickens,
all I gotta do?
maybe a goat. I don't know, but at least chickens.
Shout out
and
to
room
Oliver
get
Anthony,
it.
by the way.
So,
Yeah, get you some chickens, and then the free range eggs are free.
yeah, it's like what, an egg a day or something? That's perfect.
Yeah.
There you go.
Get like 5 of them, 6 of them. I don't know.
Get a couple of hens. You got to have a couple of hens because every once in a while one of them's going to get it into their head that no, you're not taking this set. I'm sitting on them. That's okay.
There you go.
Then you get more chickens.
Hey,
Right.
Luke,
Well,
I was telling you, we're funded. We made it. It's going to happen.
Yeah, congrats. We did it.
there you go.
We did it.
Well, Jared kind of did it. You need to be
Yeah,
honest.
Jared did it.
It's true. Man's on fire.
I mean, I don't even think I helped really with the last one.
Yeah. Well, it's what it is, man. It is what it is. You kind of been busy.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I tried.
Yeah, I didn't.
But Jared just outsold all of us.
Yeah, I didn't specifically set out to sell it. You know, I was on a few shows, and I would definitely talk about it and try to bring it up and all that stuff. But otherwise, I wasn't.
I think we're well more than funded than we were when we started the show now.
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, we are.
There you go. So Randy better get to hopping. He's a little behind.
Yeah, he'll get it.
So what's the process now for us, for the book anyways? Where do we go from here?
Simple. Now it's, we'll start getting the last of the pages going. I have a lot of lettering to do for us, which, I mean, will take all of about an afternoon to letter.
I want to see those final colors too.
Yeah, I'm working on those. I had to learn a new style. I didn't like what I was doing. So I've taken some time to educate myself so I can get something that looks really good.
What show were we on? Were we on a show, or were we just in a DM group talking about crap when we came up with Out of Obscurity, taking all these public domain?
Just in a DM.
Yeah, it was a DM group. I actually came up with the name. That was my contribution.
Yep. Yeah, you did.
So.
Yeah, and I came into the group, I guess, after a bunch of drama went down, and somebody was like,
Second
hey,
time a bunch of drama went down.
Second time, fair enough. I see. I was out of it, and then I was, and then you're like, "Hey, come hang out." I was like, "Sure, let's do it."
Yeah, that was 2 dramas ago.
Yeah, and then like a couple months after hanging out in that group, somebody was like, "Oh, we're doing an anthology." I was like, "What?" And then I was like, "Can I get in on this?" Well, you got a week to do it. I was like, "Oh, okay, well," and I submitted something, and then slowly grew into Out of Obscurity, which is great. I've ordered mine, so.
Are they 03 as we like to call it?
03, baby.
Cubed.
Oh, 3.
I don't know. Was this how many first time writers do we have in this thing?
Well,
I'd say first time published writers probably. I know. Hojo hadn't been published when we started, but now he's published. So I know
we
that
had more when we started.
Yeah. He hadn't had it. He wasn't published with Mythicals yet. He hadn't even.
Well, originally this was supposed to come out. Remember, this was supposed to come out at the beginning of the year before Luke got busy with Fund My Comic.
Yeah,
and that got kind of kicked in the ass to say, hey, we need this right now. So, Fund My Comic got put on the front burner, which everybody was cool with. Mm-hmm. And it was like, all right. And he pushed into that. And we were like, all right, let's let this grow naturally. And let's launch it when it's ready. So I'm glad that we waited. I think it was for the better.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of saturation at the time. I think it would have been...
lost in the shuffle.
A little bit, yeah. I think it would have been, yeah.
Not only that, but we had more people, or more teams, not just people, more teams that were kind of stacked on that kind of fell off after we originally were going to announce it. Anyways, so it was good. It was good that, we took our time and let it kind of simmer.
It's never bad to take your time. It's never bad.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we had people jump in late. We had people leave early, so to speak. And, as a guy
we had people leave late.
Yeah, we had people leave late, and we had people not show up to work. As a guy who publishes anthologies, it's the same story with
each
narrative
one.
fiction.
Yeah.
We had about 110, 120 submissions for our new book, The Monsters Next Door, which has just gone to print.
Nice.
There you go.
And we picked 20, and then as I'm going through, it's like, okay, let's go through the formatting. You'll get emails saying, hey, this story got picked up by somebody else. I need to take it. I'm like, okay, well, I'll take that out. And I'll get another one.
Yeah, it's pretty much the Hunger Games.
Deadline, but,
you know, may the odds ever be in your favor. You know.
Yeah, exactly. But we got 20 stories coming out in the Monsters Next Door, 20 quality stories, and we're gonna have a show next week as a sort of a book birthday. And I can't wait to show this thing off because we've done some stuff in this traditional anthology of fantasy stories that is completely untraditional. And
awesome.
I think it's going to blow some people away, especially if you're a fan of comic books, the old comic books and pulp magazines.
Well, and there's so many different people, or I said teams. I keep saying people. There's so many different teams associated with all of this. What is it, like 14 different writers or artists in some degree? It's I don't know how many it is.
Yeah,
but
we've
it's
got
great.
well,
it's a great collection of talent.
Yeah, especially for Out of Obscurity, we've got. Well, there's going to wind up being 8 stories now, and there are. Yeah, there's just a slew of different. Of
You're gonna have to get some tinsel to cut that nickel up into pieces for when it's time to divide the profits on it.
That's why we're doing.
Actually,
that's why we're not doing profits on this.
That's why we're not doing profits.
Yeah, because it would be insane.
Wait, what? We're not?
No,
Yeah.
I'm not
that's,
like,
remember that contract you signed? You should have read it.
Everyone's getting paid in copies.
Yeah.
Making copies.
That sounds great. You know what? Because I'm just gonna probably go to my local comic shop and be like, "Hey, can we put these out?"
Yeah.
So,
Well, when you start working in money, you have to start working with taxes.
Yeah.
And I don't want to send everyone a tax form.
Right.
good point.
Right.
Yeah. So we're
Yep.
we're just gonna keep this simple.
Well, the thing about this, though, I was thinking about this the other day, is every one of the characters that we used when they were active and they were not in public domain, when they were actually actively being published, anthologies were a thing. This is an old art form. So around about the time these guys were being published, anthologies were actually the norm to break into the industry. And,
right.
And so in a way, we're also raising an art form out of obscurity, a genre, as well as the characters, as well as the writers and artist teams. So.
Well, the story that I based mine off of, I think it was called The Castle originally, but that story was printed twice, if I remember, once originally in the 40s and then again in like the 70s or 80s or something like that. And they, if I remember right, they were in anthologies, or it was in anthologies both times. So yeah, definitely, it's perfect that, if I'm going to rewrite it for the third time, it's in an anthology again. An anthology.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I know for the Super Guy was actually only in one story in Charlton Comics, and when Marvel went and bought the Charlton Comics back catalog, they bought the issue that he was in, but then they didn't pick him up as a character because he was too close to Superman, and so this is actually that character's first solo book.
Marvel bought Charlton.
Charlton Comics. Yeah,
DC bought Charlton.
Yes,
DC,
because they wanted
DC.
Because they wanted to keep Superguy off the books.
Shit.
My fault. Exactly.
Come on, RJ, don't take his nerd card.
I got confused because I'm like, I remember when they bought Charlton
DC.
largely
It's
to do
DC.
Watchmen.
Hey,
They bought it
outnerded
for
me.
Blue
He's
Beetle.
fine.
They bought it for the Question.
Yeah.
They bought it.
They bought it all, and then they gave it to Alan Moore and said, write a story. And he wrote a story, and they're like, okay, but we kind of wanted to do more stories with these characters, and you've killed half of them, but it's a really good story. How about you rename them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thus the Rorschach was born. So there you go.
Always amuses me that he thought that was the most despicable character in his book, and it won the greatest comic book character 3 years running with CBG.
It broke him. It broke him. He was really despondent because he finally kind of understood that maybe I am not the mainstream like I thought I was.
Gee, go figure. The occultist is full of ego.
That's what happens when you're a cultist. It's like a
I mean,
prerequisite.
and I love his writing. Don't get me wrong, and I respect everything he's done. But yeah, I mean, he's just kind of full of himself. He's pretty.
Oh yeah.
Does he still write the same way? Because I feel like there was a time in my life where that style of writing appealed to me, and I don't know whether the style changed or I just grew out of it, because I'm like, I want to fall asleep when I think about writing something new reading something new from Neil Gaiman.
What was somebody?
And I used to read everything.
Well, somebody had a on X, the X, formerly the artist formerly known as Twitter. They said what's a comic that you like or that you hate that everybody else likes? And I said Watchmen, and I had so many people butthurt about it, and I was like, think about it. No matter how good you like the comic, you have to admit it is the patient zero for most of the worst trends in comics right now.
The postmodernism.
You can date them back to Watchmen. So.
It's not the book's fault.
It's
everybody else's fault.
Yes,
it's for people took the wrong lessons from that book, and they ruined the industry with them. So.
Watchmen was one half of the virus that attached itself to Dark Knight Returns, and you're right, Luke. It's everyone else's fault. It's the publishers who said, "This sold a bajillion. Let's make everything else this."
Yeah. And the writers. Let's not forget that even though it's a postmodernist tale, right, deconstructionist kind of tale, the hero of Watchmen was the right-wing nut job.
Yeah.
Who won out in the end.
Ultimately, yeah.
And don't forget, also, the constructionism is actually really easy, or deconstructionism is really easy to do. It's probably the easiest writing that you can do. It's taking something and tearing it down to kind of the most ugly thing that you can. And it's really easy. So it was well done. The book was well done. But, I mean, it wasn't. When everyone else started, copying, it wasn't like it was profound.
No.
What they were doing.
Nope.
And they all thought they were good.
It was for me because when I found it in my early 20s, I was like, wow, what is this? And it was so in depth, and there was so much like behind it. Like there was whole passages that was like straight out of the one of the characters' novels and stuff.
Yeah, let me clarify a little bit there. It wasn't.
Sure.
It was profound when it was first done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, when everyone else started to copy it, it lost its. It wasn't profound anymore. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't special anymore. They killed the specialness about it.
Well, the avant-garde becomes the new or the regular guard, right? So.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's how you get Sam Smith.
Ugh. Oh God. That's uncalled for, dude.
Sorry. Apologize.
Man, Bunny, you just got to ruin everything.
I know. Seriously.
But you're talking about modernism and postmodernism and stuff. So I saw this amazing breakdown of, and I brought it up before, I think, earlier today on Nerd Bacon. It was like this guy was talking about meta-modernism. And he says that the best version of this is, at least right now, and probably the inventor of the term, the one who coined it, is the guy who did Everything Everywhere All at Once. And whether or not you like the movie, the point of it is that it takes all it takes the truths of modernism, right? Where like the good guy is right, like the whole the hook brings him back song, right? And then you take that old traditional modernist of the 50s, and then the postmodernists, of the Marxists and whatever, the deconstructions, like you guys are talking. And you take the truths out of that because there are truths to be found in that, and you put them together, and at the end comes out like in the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once is actually family values, traditionalism comes out in the end. Even though you take this journey of deconstruction and finding the truth of it, I was like, that's great. Let's see some more of that. I don't mind if you want to deconstruct the hero. But let's keep those truths in there. Don't just deconstruct them just because,
and try maybe a little reconstruction every once in a while.
Yeah, like The Boys. These are the
without
shitty versions.
Obscurity.
What's that?
That's what we did without Obscurity. that segue.
Yeah.
Take it away, RJ.
Take it away. Well, let's go through what everybody did here.
Yeah, for sure.
Top of the stack.
Yeah, because I don't know about the clock, and that's what you wrote, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That is what I wrote. And okay, since I'm on top of the stack all the way, I will I will take it from there. So I do this show every now and then. In fact, I'll be doing it tomorrow with Mike Walters, who has the Mike Stand channel. And Monday through Thursday, he does niche news. He does, what's going on in comics, wrestling, manga, and anime. And he just, he's reading the day's headlines about what's coming up.
Yeah.
And then on Friday, he does something different. See, you always hear the story about the guy who goes into the comic shop and says, "Hey, I'm thinking about reading comics. Where should I start?" And you're like, well, how would you start somebody reading comics? You're like, well, you should start with, Batman Year One, or you should start with Marvel Secret Wars, or something like that. Well, Mike's brain doesn't work that way. He's like, where do you start? Let's start at the very beginning. So he went all the way back to 1937, and he started reading the Golden Age comic books that were published online. So going into like Yellow Kid and the Famous Funnies and stuff like that. So every Friday night is a historic comic retrospective, and we're up to 1939 right now. We've been hitting Superman and Detective Comics, reading all that, and we do the voices and sound effects and everything. So it's like radio drama with pictures.
That's cool.
And that's how I got introduced to the Clock. The Clock was the first American masked hero in comics. Now,
really?
Flag on the play, people are going to say, no, the Phantom. Like, yes, Phantom with an asterisk because he came first, but he's Britain. He's not an American. He's from Britain publishing.
Yes.
So they beat us to the punch on the masked hero character kind of trope. But Brian O'Brien was just a billionaire playboy, did nothing but lounge around, would walk down the street or drive around somewhere, and apparently his crime was so rampant in his town, he's like, hey, I think I'll go down to the deli and get myself a bologna sandwich. Oh, look, jewel thieves. And he just pulled the car over, take out this black handkerchief that was in his pocket, tuck it up in his fedora hat, and just let it hang over his face. And it had two little eye holes cut out. Like, it's the least secure disguise in the world. And then he would just go in two-fisted and punch the bad guys.
Yeah. Stop Corona, though, so that worked.
Exactly. But it's like he didn't have a clock with
magic.
Yeah, he didn't have any snappy phrases like, time to wind you down, or,
yeah, I could do this all day. Yeah.
It was the Clock. And the title of the stories was actually The Clock Strikes.
Nice.
Now, interesting thing, that costume later changed. Mm-hmm. George Brenner, the creator, kept the blue suit, kept the necktie, kept the blue fedora hat. Luke, you're taking notes on this now, right? The blue fedora hat.
The blue, yeah.
I think it was a white fedora hat. And in the mask way, it became a domino mask. So if you picture somebody in a fedora and a suit and a domino mask, who do you think of?
The Spirit.
The Spirit. Well, George Brenner was working alongside Will Eisner. And Will Eisner was using several pseudonyms in these same books. Sure. And Eisner said that the Spirit was based on an old Golden Age character that most people didn't really know about.
Nice.
So
guess who it was? Not
a great leap of logic to assume.
Also with a blue suit with a red tie.
Exactly. So it wasn't a dead cop. It was just a bored billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny is, sorry, it's kind of a segue. So I was listening to Jim Cummings, the guy, the voice actor. He's done a bunch of Disney work. I was listening to his podcast, and he had Billy West on, and they were talking about doing different stuff, and they were saying when you're coming up with an impression or you're trying out a new voice or whatever. If you don't quite nail it, or if somebody is like, is like you try to do it and somebody's like they don't get it, well, that's a new character. So you take that new voice and that's your new character. And maybe that's kind of what they did on this. Was like they kind of imitated it, but it wasn't enough. So they're like, well, this is our new character.
Yeah,
so
new
we're
character.
gonna run with this one.
Well,
hey,
when,
it works.
when I've been
Close, but it's
introducing
not
the
it.
clock
Dude,
on other
Go ahead.
streams, I've been making that connection with the spirit. So I'm glad to see that I heard that right.
So I actually used to do that when I was in a band. Whenever I would mess something, I was like, "Oh, sorry, that's a new song I'm working on."
Yeah, I'm just trying something out.
Yeah,
That's jazz. That's jazz. So
Yeah, I've been working on that.
We're
that's
jamming.
not a mistake. That's jazz. So.
Yeah, we're just jamming.
There's no such thing as mistakes.
$0 price tag. You're right. That is a nice little incentive on the cover there. We're not selling it for that, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's because we didn't know exactly when I made the mock-up. I had no idea what we were really going to price it at the time.
Yeah,
we were kind of uncertain.
But we did end up pricing it at $25.
Mm-hmm.
So, and how many pages did we end up with?
It's going to be just under 100. It looks like.
Whoa!
By the time I get everything in there.
That's a big boy.
Yeah, by the time I get everything in there, it's going to be full of stuff. It's going to be fun. Yeah.
Now wait a second. We got 8 stories.
Yep.
And I'm gonna talk out of school here, but 8 stories supposed to be 6 pages each, and
mine's 7.
RJ slipped in 7, and Luke said, "No, it's got to be 6, but make it 8."
Eric's got 7. So.
6, yeah, and then I let one person take 7, and then I was like, okay, well, you can have 7, and then somebody, I actually think somebody submitted 10. And I was like, damn it! I was like, damn it! I said 7. I said 6 to 8. 6 to 8.
Right.
I knew.
It was 6
but
to 8. That's what I remember.
I'm working with comic book creators, of course. Someone's gonna sneak in 10 on me, and I'm like, all right, that's fine.
I just needed one more page for the fight. That was it. I was like, I need one more good page.
I think it's "Thou Art the Man," maybe.
Yeah.
This one right here. Maybe.
Yeah, he has a tendency to doing.
I was like, who's got a 40-page story in this thing?
I didn't realize it was such a fat boy. That's great.
Well,
I think Hojo's the only one that has a 6-pager now. So.
Yeah. Well, all of the stories will have an intro page from Spank.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be that, and then there will be some standard credits pages for some other things that we're going to put in there, and then we're going to put in kind of write-ups about each one of the creative teams and work that they've done, where you can find them, QR codes to their social media, and that kind of stuff, so that that is what's going to fill up quite a bit, the about stuff for the creators, for the creative teams. I wanted to kind of show off, what you guys did, and brag about you guys, really.
Yeah.
I want people to be able to get a sense of, who you are. I mean, this isn't about Luke and Arrow as much as it is about the creators that are working on this project.
Yeah, which I appreciate. That's really cool. I mean, any kind of eyes I can get on me is great. So I appreciate all of that. Yeah, it's like, it's so huge. Oh, wait.
He's such a handsome young man.
And the thing is, we got such and again, this is just like the anthology books of the Golden Age. They're different kinds of characters. Anthologies in the Golden Age went from 2 toddlers getting into hilarious hijinks to a spy smasher, to a superhero, to a cowboy, and it was like there was no programming logic to this thing. It was.
Which I think is great. Like, each story is so different than the next one. So that's very cool.
Yeah, we jumped genres. We jumped literary styles. We jumped narrative
art
styles.
Yeah.
Each one is just its own world. It's I've seen most of the scripts, and they're all top notch. I mean, there's not a weakling in this bunch.
Yeah, nobody dropped the ball on this.
Nobody.
So is this going to be like a regular thing from Arrow Comics, where
I think so.
Okay. I think it's a great idea. Like, at least do maybe one a year or something. That would be so great.
Yeah. At this pace, it'll have to be one a year.
There you go.
I was thinking about doing one a quarter, but as busy as I've been.
Sure.
I mean, even right now, as we speak, I am doing commission work.
There you go.
I've got work I've got to get done so that we can. Well, I mean, that's the only way I get paid.
There you go.
Exactly. You want the money.
Yeah, that's the only way I get paid. Because I'm not getting paid from my comic right now. Where all of that money is going right back into making Fun My Comic.
There you go.
A total beast.
It is.
Did you think it was going to get this big, this fast?
No, not a chance. I didn't think so. Yeah, it's blowing my mind.
It's so funny because although you didn't have confidence, I was like, this is gonna be a good deal.
Well, back
that's
when
why
we
I
were
was
kind
like
of
right
pushing,
away. I was doing all the Bunny's trailers. It's great. I was like, it's gonna be something for sure.
Well, back when we were pushing, Luke into this thing head first, we were all saying is like,
What's
man,
up,
this
John?
is a market niche because IGG's villain turn and Kickstarter's always been iffy, and with the little jackass kicking, Mike Barron off of his crowdfunder, it was just like people were just like, oh crap, we need someplace to land, and then Luke's like, ta-da, and
since you mentioned
it's kismet. It's just the perfect, and then
it's kismet.
It's kismet, a little bit of planning involved.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. It's been a lot of work.
Well, yeah, because it was going to be your place to sell your book.
Just me. Yeah, just for me.
Just like, several other people, like Stuntman Comics is doing with Mandy.
I wasn't going to share. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what got me was everybody was like, "Oh my God, I'm tired of being shadow banned," and then but then it's like, well, let's make our own websites, and then people were like, "Yeah, but we won't have like traffic." That was always the thing. Well, if you create your own website, there won't be traffic. And it's like, and Fun My Comic was like, well, if you bring your stuff over to FMC, it will have traffic. Duh.
Well, see, the best argument I heard against that, and I found it played out after I ran an IGG campaign, was Chris Fisk of Infinitail was like, I tracked my analytics, and most of my sales actually came from being on YouTube. Most of them were just, somebody would share the link in the chat and follow it through and buy. And that was where he got like probably 80 or more percent
90,
of his
probably
sales.
70 to 90%.
Yeah.
Of your backing, you have driven to the website.
Right.
No matter what website it is that you're using. I mean, It's you. You're the one that's doing it.
You're the one doing it. And that's why it's like, why should I go to IGG,
Yeah.
Especially if they're going to shadow ban you and you can only find your thing by a direct link.
And then pretend that they're helping promote my stuff, and I'm getting buyers like they're a marketplace.
Let's get your 5%.
It's like, dude, I get an email every time I get a buyer. Well, and I can track where that comes from, and it's never just like randomly on IGG. So I don't know who they think they're convincing that they're providing a service to, but they're not. So
what's funny is we're actually getting random backers from Fun My Comic. Like, I can see where people hang out, and we're having the same IP addresses hit multiple campaigns while they're on the site.
Nice.
Which is neat.
Now, that was one of the things I was wanting to ask about a long time ago, and I think we did talk about this. You got the shopping cart option on here, which is something that Indiegogo doesn't have, or Kickstarter, if that matters. So, like, if you're on Indiegogo and you're like, hey, I want that tier, you get that tier, and you finish paying for that tier and you check out and you're like, but I wanted the other tier too. That's a whole other separate transaction where here's like, I want this, put it in the cart. I want this, put it in the cart. This, put it in the cart.
Yeah.
But it's still per campaign, as I understand it, right? I mean, it's not like you can say, hey, I want an out of obscurity. Okay, now I want to go in here and give me a hybrids and then check all that out at once.
No. Just it's per campaign. Think of it like going to the mall. you're actually backing that creator. You're not backing Fund My Comic.
You go into that store, yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to that store.
You pay for it in that store, and then you go to the next store. That makes sense.
That's exactly what it's like here.
Well, I think it's kind of like a highway with
close.
stores on it, basically. Fund My Comic being the highway, and people get on that highway, and then they drive by, and it's like, oh, there's stores here, store here, store here. And it's up
like
to the person
where
to.
you go to everybody's booth, and you're like, I like this, I like this, I like this, and then you take it up front, and they're like, okay, this tag belongs to this person, this tag belongs to that person.
Right.
Yeah, we don't. You're really going into the each person's store and backing them from there.
Mm-hmm.
That's also why I moved the name of Continuous to a storefront. You don't have to technically be a storefront to use it, but there's a lot of people that were kind of misunderstanding what the purpose of that was for.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, it's like, we're really using this for kind of pre-order. This is stuff that, is either near done or you've already funded and gotten most of the money you need for it.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of new people aren't getting that. So by calling it a storefront, we've had fewer issues with people choosing that funding mode when it's not quite the right one for them. So.
That was attractive to me. Sorry, go ahead.
Let's talk about these stories a little bit.
Yeah, I'm looking at your story here, and the first thing that jumps out at me is that your art's by Mark Oliver. Did we just find him simultaneously, or?
No, my guy flaked out, and you were kind of like, well, my guy's good. He's available.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And I contacted Mark, and he had the first page like in less than a week.
There we go.
So, but I had already I showed him the other guy had pencils already, and I showed them to Mark, and I was like, I really like this guy's style. Could you get an approximation here? I don't want you to copy it, but could you get an approximation? And so that whole slanted panel, kind of rough edge thing is kind of came from that guy who disappeared, just stopped posting everywhere, just boom, gone.
Jeez.
And so a lot of these first couple pages were from that guy, basically. But Mark did his own version of it. He just used kind of like that for layout ideas. And so we were able to catch up to where we were just a couple weeks, and then he just kept going, and what the result is just absolutely amazing. Mika from Barbusco Comics, my colorist, she took it to a new level with this. The color palette she used, it's got this eeriness to it, this kind of ghostliness to it.
It looks
called
cool.
Ghost Story.
I like that bluish green tint. That's good. I like it.
Yeah. I there's a couple of times where, I had to send, where Mark had to like redo things, and she had to go back and recolor some stuff because of some language misunderstandings, like a concept. One of the concepts is something called a spirit lantern from Chinese. It's an early form of projector, and that was used by the original. This particular ghostwriter used it to kind of like project it, like a ghostly image of himself.
Oh, I see. Right. Because your story is kind of like if Scooby-Doo.
Right.
It's like an inversion of Scooby-Doo, right?
Yeah, it's an inversion of Scooby-Doo in a way.
So that projector was like some of the Chinese, unfortunate the Chinese dynamite guys were probably using.
Well, sure. Sing Sing, his assistant, who pretty much was the assistant of that ghostwriter.
Nice.
He had a lot of these ideas. So they used Ledger Domain.
Tricky Oriental. He's an alchemist,
Oriental, right?
Yeah, he's an alchemist and inventor.
It was a different day.
I love it. I don't have a problem with it.
Oh, they all had Oriental sidekicks at the time. One of the funniest things, it's stands out to me about that whole trope is with the Green Hornet, because it was on the radio program where his valet Cato.
Good job, Cato.
On December 7th, on December 7th, the day that lives in infamy, we got bombed by the Japanese, and on December 8th, Cato became Filipino.
Was that right?
They went out of their way in the scripts to say his faithful Filipino valet Cato.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't want to interfere with the anti-Jap kind of propaganda at the time, right? Where they were considered sneaky. I remember growing up in the '80s watching the Japanese wrestler. Was it the Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, right? And even then there was like this kind of.
He was Hawaiian. But he's
what's that?
He's pretending to be
Japanese. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring up wrestling. I know you guys know way more than I do. But I remember, as a kid, he was supposed to be like a Japanese guy and all this other stuff. And that was like the whole stereotype is like, well, the Japanese are sneaky, or they could be sneaky. And at that time, a lot of the 80s kind of influence of, the Japanese radios and the cars and gung ho and stuff like that was a thing. So
there you go.
Sorry.
Well, the truth is,
what's up, Shadowhawk?
Some Japanese people are sneaky.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Yeah, everybody's every kind of person.
Everybody's got some sneakies.
Yeah, exactly. But I was just saying because of Pearl Harbor, they got that stereotype.
Oh
that
yeah,
propaganda tagged onto them.
Well,
that was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Well, with this particular story, though, the Comics Code Authority wouldn't let anybody do anything with supernatural elements, and so one of the things that made when they took it to Marvel and they took this idea, the name, and the idea to Marvel, and they left this character behind. One of the things that they left behind was the fact that this guy wasn't supernatural, and so. So my idea was, what happens if you take the supernatural and put it back into that comic? And that's why I came up with the ghost story idea. And so I'm really excited for people.
Elements lasted just long enough for EC Comics to go under, and they didn't bother rewriting it. But by golly, they put out ghost stories and everything.
Oh yeah. Well, it was basically designed to destroy EC Comics.
Yeah.
Because EC Comics was like ruling the world at that time. They were ruling comics at that time. And then overnight, the Comics Code Authority just murdered them, massacred it. So.
I hated the comics.
They could still print everything they wanted. They just wouldn't get carried by any newsstand because they couldn't get that stamp.
Who was giving them money? Did it happen to be Marvel and DC? No, I don't know.
Well, they weren't big enough at that time. That's what launched them into becoming bigger.
Because EC was taken down. Yeah.
Yeah. It created that market vacuum, and suddenly these other comic book companies started like buying up all these comic book companies that were going under because of the Comics Code Authority, and they played the game when nobody else did, and suddenly we have the big two.
Right.
And I talked with Richard Silverclight way back in the day, and he pretty much says, and probably quite correctly, that the Comics Code Authority saved the comics industry. The fact of the idea of self-policing. Now, the fact that the self-policing people said, hey, who's our biggest competition? Can we self-police them right out of the thing? That's a different story. But
well, they saved comics during the Satanic Panic.
Yeah.
Kind of like, you can keep comic books in your kids' hands. We'll make sure that's safe. And so,
the loss of that sticker and the adult market, or rather the adult storytelling market, is why we don't have a distribution network outside of the direct sales industry. When direct sales first became a thing, we had both. You'll find comics with a barcode that were in drugstores, and blank square that were in comic shops. And what happened was Alice Walton of the Walmart Waltons. Her grandson got a copy of a comic book in a Walmart, and it was an issue of Spawn, and it was the child abuse issue. And that book went before the board. And like, what are we selling to kids straight out of the comic books here? This, and Walmart's like, well, you know what? We can't take the time to look at every single book and see if it qualifies, so we're just not going to sell them. And as goes Walmart, so goes the world. So the whole, non-direct sales market, the whole newsstand market just collapsed.
Yep. And Diamond was only happy to pick up the pieces and assure everybody that they were going to be the distribution network going forward. So,
do I really look like I've lost weight? Because I still look the same to me.
It's the beard, losing the beard, really. Yeah.
My gut's below camera level, and I know that my.
You have lost a little bit of pudginess. You lost a little pudginess.
Your face and neck.
Yep. There you go. Congratulations.
25 pounds so far, studio. So thank you.
You're looking good. You're looking good. People are noticing.
Thunder Horse. That's going to be cool. Super old guy.
Yeah, that's the fun one.
This looks like it was like a Mad Magazine.
I'm not even gonna lie, guys. No offense to any of your stories, but that one's my favorite.
Well,
because
that's probably the breakout one because it's so damn funny.
Yeah, because it's so different from everybody else's.
Yeah,
it's
like a deconstruction, but it's not.
I have never in my life read a comic book and laughed at the jokes that were in them. I've never thought that they could pull off comedy in comic books very well.
Yeah,
I read that his was the first script that came across my email. So it's the first one I'm looking at across my desk, and I'm thinking, oh man, hopefully I didn't get myself into a mess here, And so I read that script, and I'm belly laughing at this friggin' script. I'm like, this is hilarious. Yeah. Like just the idea of just seeing these images of this.
And that was his second script ever.
I was like, color me surprised, So that one sold it for me that Out of Obscurity was going to be a massive success in my opinion, as far as a publishing effort. And I was just really impressed with it.
Anybody remember the Scarlet Cyclone, also known as Retired Man?
There you go.
This was on a show called Legend of the Superheroes. It was a television special starring Adam West and Burt Ward as Batman and Robin, but it was the first live-action Black Canary, Hawkman, Huntress, Green Lantern, The Flash, and it was just, unfortunately, a Dean Martin roast kind of thing, full of camp and bad special effects. But I mean, you had Sinestro, you had Solomon Grundy. It was the bomb, really, for a comics fan who wanted to see things done in live action.
Yeah. Yeah, we're spoiled for it now, but people forget how rare it was.
Oh, dude. I mean, I remember the Incredible Hulk made-for-TV movies where I would just wait for them. I'm like, oh, there it is. It was like every 2 or 3 years. There's a Daredevil one, the Thor. Yeah, that was awesome. Love those.
The Daredevil one was great because it was like, the story is that, well, you remember the Daredevil, he had a blindfold around his eyes.
Yeah.
And he was that was his costume. And Stan Lee was like, why is he wearing a blindfold? And the writer's like, well, he's blind, he can't see. Yes, but he's not supposed to tell the world that.
And then next thing you know, they did that in comics.
It just reminds us, kind of dumb 10-year-olds that he is indeed blind, so he cannot see.
There you go. But
but look here, aren't we supposed to have representation so people can see themselves in comics?
Yeah.
But who's reading Daredevil?
I just want to see the next Eskimo hero.
Blind kids can't see themselves in anything.
Actually, there is an Eskimo hero. He's in Company Man.
Oh, hey! Right.
Nice.
Indie Comics has him, so there you go. Durer is a Eskimo hero. So.
There's a void in the market, and the indies will provide.
Yep.
I tried to figure out which one of the Global Guardians was the Eskimo, because you remember when Super Friends continued on in its evolution, you you ended up with Apache Chief and Black Vulcan because they couldn't get Black Lightning for some reason.
Chuck.
Right. Tinkle is Einhorn, yeah.
Remember when all of the black characters were called Black? Like there was Black in their name because they're black.
Yeah, because
I actually carried that over in my comic.
I had an interview a long time ago, and I can't remember who it was with. He was writing Black Panther at the time, but he was like a television writer. And I was like, why is it that all the black male heroes were like Black Panther and Black Goliath? Like, but all the women were Black Canary and Black Cat, and they were white.
Yeah.
Right.
Naughty.
Right.
Nobody knows, man.
Yeah. So Super Guy is definitely going to be the comic relief and among the rather serious.
Everything else is serious. Yeah.
Everything else is serious, though.
But it's he just did comedy so well. I was just really impressed with that because it's so hard to do comedy in comics.
This one is the one I know the least about, the Puritan Solomon Kane one.
Yeah, it is. It's Solomon Kane. I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's a Robert E. Howard character, but he had like, as far as I can recall, because I talked with somebody who did a Gideon Kane book, which was Solomon Kane. They just didn't use the name to get in continuity. Right. He didn't have any. It'd be like there'd be supernatural crap going down in town. Solomon Kane showed up, kicked butt, and walked away. And it's like, where does he come from? Where does he go? Nobody knows.
Well, the thing about it is that when you read the synopsis of this one, I'm like, how did he fit all that into like 6 pages? So I'm thinking this one's longer than 6 pages. So.
Well, I said somebody sent me one longer than they were supposed to.
Ah. Right.
You would need that for something like Solomon Kane.
Yeah.
It's probably true, yeah.
But, I mean, it's good, so we leave it. I'm like, all right.
Then you got this one right here, this beauty.
Tell me about this, because I don't know anything about this one.
What's that?
I have no idea where this came from.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Tower, Time Forgot. So this one is actually, it's based on an old... it was just a one-shot in an anthology called The Castle, and it's about these two. I think it's from the 40s, right? So like the guy is all like an engineer type. He's like, oh, let's go check it out, honey, and he's trying to impress this girl, and they go fly out to this castle where this engineer from like 400 years ago, built something cool, and he wanted to go investigate it. Well, I did that similar in mine, only it's 400 years in the future, and there's like a bio nanotech virus that has infected the world, and unfortunately the girl. And so this guy's like, I'm gonna go back to the inventor of one of these main inventors of this transhumanist stuff, and try to find a cure or something, some kind of answers to all this. And that's kind of where we pick up the story. There at the top, instead of a castle, it's a tower, a tech tower in San Francisco. And I did it in black and white to kind of give it like the horror movie feel of the old Universal movies,
Yeah, Jose Garcia's doing the art, so it's going to have sort of a...
Yeah, which is super cool because, he does fantasy normally for me, and he's done like Tiger Blue, which I think is all... it's all fulfilling right now. He did Crimson Rin, which is fantasy as well. But this is like the techno dystopian sci-fi future stuff. And I think it's just great. He referenced, I wish I could find it, in the DMs when we were talking about it, he referenced an artist that he was like, man, I'd love to kind of pull influence from him. And he must have, because that whole look that you see on that front page is throughout the whole book, or the whole story. So it's super cool. It's really neat.
I can't wait to read all these stories. Of course, there's the clock we talked about at the top. And, again, Mark Oliver, I showed him several panels of the characters from the Golden Age books, and I said, stick with the style. So that's why it's a very, it's much simpler kind of drawing, because it's supposed to look like a Golden Age story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's Spank
I love
the
Spank. I love the Spank the monkey.
So,
little thing here local, we had probably, 15 years ago, there was a radio show, and they had a monkey. He was a sock puppet monkey named Spanx the monkey. You know, he's like this little personality who'd come in, and he's real raunchy and everything. And it just reminds me so much of him. It's terrific.
It might be based on him. I don't know.
It's fun having a little mascot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I wonder if they got that from Randy because he
came up with it originally?
Yeah,
it may be.
He published him on Arrow Comics, and he was Wizard Magazine said that Arrow Comics, like something about had balls or something like that, because their cover was they had Spanx and his partner nestled between two giant boobs.
Yep. Spank and his brother Shock the monkey.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I can't remember what his name is.
It's very possible that they took it from there, for sure.
Very possible, yeah.
Entirely possible. Yeah, Randy's been around a while, so
for a minute.
Did you call him old? Come on.
Yes, that's what he did. He just called Randy old.
No, he might chronologically be old, but that man's brain will never be old. So.
Yeah, he's.
I love having him on talking about comics, and his show on Sunday mornings, Sunday Funnies. That's Don't Miss TV.
Who did the cover?
I did the layout pencil.
Yeah,
like a loose pencil, and Odin did the finishing, finishes.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
So basically, he tightened it up and.
That's supposed to be anybody's glove in particular, or
that's Super Old Guy. That's 1000% Super Old Guy.
The star of the book, you know.
Right, but I thought, like, how funny would it be, you know? Because you think, I mean, that's so creepy, right? Like, I made the glove muddy, and you know, it's a very gritty cover. And then when you read Super Old Guy, you're gonna be like, dear God, that's weird.
Yeah,
it's just goofy. It's just goofy.
Well, I think Jared says it's like a One Punch Man meets Mr. Magoo.
Yeah.
So you got this guy. He's kind of like wandering through his life. He's wearing tights, and he's complete. You know, he's old. He's, you know.
Well, it's a terrific spin on the satire, Superman satire, right?
Yeah.
Because we've seen Homelander and you know all these negative versions of the Superman trope, but it's like, well, how about an old guy? You know, right. It's terrific.
There was a book that Gail Simone did back when Gail Simone wrote comics. I can't remember what the name it was. Welcome to Tranquility or something like that. But it was like a retirement town for superheroes as they got old.
What does that look like?
And there was one guy who was like, he's just walking around with a book in his hands, mumbling to himself all the time. And you know, the person visiting who's getting, you know, the world building story told to them through narrative, like, what's it with this story? She's like, oh, you know, that's Joe. Joe was, you know, this particular superhero back, you know, decades ago. And Joe would, you know, basically become this powerful superhero by reciting his magic word, and he's forgotten it. So he collects dictionaries, and he just reads the dictionary one word at a time out loud, hoping he'll stumble across the magic word to turn him back into the superhero.
That's a great idea. So I hope someday they get an actual comic book writer to do it.
Guys, I gotta pop off. Thanks for having me.
See you, Luke.
Guys, back out of obscurity.
Yep.
We gotta get to those stretch goals.
Stretch goals. We got.
Yeah, for sure.
Stretches, man.
People have volunteered commissions to help support this project. Kevin McDougall commissions. There's 3 of them.
Yep.
Don Edwards, Shay the Red. We all know and love Shay.
There's only 2 left of mine, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Luke, you get a Bronze Terror T-shirt.
All right, guys.
Obscurity T-shirt.
See you, Luke.
See
you, Luke. Bye, babe.
Be sure to use code SHIP2 when you're backing multiple items, and you'll get shipping discounts on this.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from the couple of T-shirts and the art tiers, it's the book. It's a very simple setup campaign.
For $25, you're going to get 8 excellent stories of great characters that we haven't seen for a while.
Right.
With some up and coming writers that you're going to start hearing about. That I believe from the group that knowing these guys, I mean, Hojo, you've already got comic out by him. But Jared has a project in the works. Mr. Aaron's already funded his project, Immortal Rising. RJ is actually a published author, but this is his first comic book.
And you know what? I would rather write another 100,000-page novel than a 6-page story again.
Yeah,
that was the hardest thing I've ever had to sit down and figure out.
It's like running kerosene in a gasoline engine.
It is its own art form. That's for sure.
It is entirely
really
different.
Guys, we went up another $10 on the thing here. I just refreshed it.
Oh, wow.
Somebody.
But we don't have a bird to flip. Oh.
Well, what we have is this.
But that trick never worked.
This time for sure.
That's not what we have.
It's shake and bake, and I help.
It's shake and bake, and I help.
Somebody out in our audience help. It they might have come in from some other show, but if it goes up, that's the rule. If a campaign goes up during our show, we take the credit.
That's right.
You blasted it right.
Yes.
There you go.
Take the credit. We had our shake and bake moment. So whoever did that out there, thank you.
Thank you.
You helped.
Thank you. You make RJ look good. You made RJ look good. But yeah, Fowler, he's got published books out there right now. Got my Tiger Blue the other day. But so we basically have like a bunch of really good writers, up and coming artists, up and coming colorists.
Well, it's like this is a generation. Maybe not the whole, but it's a good test or a good sample of this generation of the CG or indie comics, because there's a lot here. Like there's a lot of artists and a lot of writers all contributing to this. So you're gonna find something that you're gonna new, that you're gonna like, that you're gonna see again, that you're gonna buy. So yeah, buy it now. You're gonna like it.
Oh, absolutely.
If you want to do that, folks, the link to this campaign is right below the video. So
now that people know that it's funded, I expect we start taking down some of these stretch goals, because
that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Like, just come and check it out. Like, there's nobody else is doing an Out of Obscurity type of book at all. So you have a wide variety of genres, wide variety of writing styles, wide variety of art styles. So there's nothing else going on right now like this at all.
You've got a Jungle Age, Golden Age jungle comic, Korex, Son of Tarzan. You've got the almost the prototype pulp comic in Clock Strikes. You've got a horror sci-fi quest comic in Tower of Time Forgot. You've got a horror weird western when Ghost Rider, the ghost story. You've got the book, the E. Howard kind of story with with Solomon Kane. You got a Solomon Kane story. I mean, it's
Son of Tarzan.
Don Martin
comedy. You got a comedy, kind of a farce comedy with super old guy, and then the Bronze Terror is going to be part of the Chrome Dog universe going forward. This will be the first published.
Wait, what is?
The Bronze Terror.
Really?
Bronze Terror.
Nice.
He's going to be in his universe going forward. So this will be the first time you see that universe that's going to be in Chrome Dog when Chrome Dog comes out.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so that story is pretty significant, but I mean, it's just Randy's story. I'm not quite sure what Randy's story is going to be, but Randy Zim has been he's a hell of a writer. He's been around quite a while. So I think he started in the 80s. And so he, you're not going to get a slouch story from him, certainly not. And he's, his character Spanx is the host of this whole thing. So
great mascot.
Yeah, it's this is not a losing proposition here. This is diamond in the rough. It's just quality. I mean, bang
Yeah.
for your buck.
A place where you discover your new favorite writers, your new favorite characters, and Coco Shoe says, "I write good." Every priest he's put in office has stayed there.
There you go. There you go.
See what I did there?
Well,
all right, guys, let's wrap this up here. And I appreciate y'all popping in. I know it was a sort of a, hey, I'm doing a stream. Y'all can jump in if you want kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Good seeing y'all. Everybody in the chat, thank you guys for being here. Do appreciate you. We don't have a show without you guys.
Wait, and if John is still in the chat, give us a chance with this book on your show, please, sir. That would be excellent. There's so many new artists and writers out there right now. Like I was saying, this new generation. Let's see if some new fans can be found. Give this book a chance on a bigger platform than just one of our smaller shows. Would be phenomenal. Would be phenomenal.
One thing I wish the professionals would get involved, because they've been talking about these compilation for a long time. This is what they've been talking about. I mean, they've already put a compilation out in Two-Fisted Manly Tales. Graham Nolan did.
I remember that. Yeah.
So I mean, it's like, here's another one. This is right down the alley of what professionals have been talking about. I wish that they would push it, but they only push their own projects. So, it is what it is.
Yep.
All right.
We're going to have to get up in them DMs.
Yeah, do that.
I know.
Do that. All right, guys. We'll see y'all later. Everybody in the chat.
There you go.
Hope you have a blast.
See you around, guys.
There you guys. Bye.